one of the ways I think people did orient themselves was around him in some ways. I mean, John Paul II clearly is this giant, charismatic figure, and Joseph Ratzinger is not. He's a different kind of creature. But I do think a lot of the people, I don't know, in my orbit, I don't know how else to describe it, were more of the, let's just hunker down. We'll be good Catholics. This thing will start growing again once it goes through. This it'll have this process like Ratzinger gave it. And then Pope Francis comes along, and he's a completely different kind of figure. I mean, an out of the blue figure, not a person I am comfortable with at all. I don't. But Christ's vicar nonetheless, and so. Like Jesus, I don't know if you know this. He doesn't call me and ask me about who should be who should be his vicar. I haven't gotten that call yet.
I haven't gotten that call either, actually. So.
Yeah. So so I want to be a good son of the church. I want to follow. But boom, a lot of people wanted to just have their head down and be like, all right, we're gonna be this hardcore, and we'll be like a seed and something. And then this Pope comes along and says, no, that's not what we're doing. We're doing something different. Help me with that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've thought about this a lot. And, I think Archbishop Shappy wrote about this recently, within the last year or so, but he's not the only one either. The kind of excessive view we had of the role of the papacy that came off a long string of really, really good popes. Doesn't mean that Francis is a bad pope. He's just a very different pope. And again, I keep coming back to history. If you don't know the history of the church, you don't understand that popes are very human. We've had some really bad ones. I mean, evil guys, and a lot of mediocre people. And the main function that the Pope serves is to provide us a sense of unity. And when that gets wobbly, everything gets weird. And I think people are not accustomed to the style of this papacy compared to the last 6 or 7 people who inhabited it. And that's very disruptive. That's very disruptive, very disorienting. Now, let's put that aside for a moment. It's also quite, mature Catholic obedience is not servility. We have a right to say, wait a minute, that doesn't fit with what my understanding of fidelity to the corpus of the church is. And so it's not wrong as long as it's done respectfully and with goodwill and fidelity to question a pope. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm an adult. I think I'm supposed to use my brain.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to be faithful. And if I sense something wrong with the way things are running, I have the obligation to say that respectfully. And everything I've just said, Archbishop Shappy would have said, because I've heard him say it. I mean, we need to be faithful, but fidelity does not necessarily mean turning off our brains. And so I think some of the questioning and criticism that has been leveled at Rome over the last few years is perfectly legitimate. Doesn't give us a pass on obedience.
No,
but it does. It's perfectly. I mean, that's what lay people are supposed to do. Act in truth.
Have you been surprised at how disrespectful some of the Catholic media response has been to Pope Francis?
Yeah, I don't think that's very productive. I understand people being angry and upset, but see, this goes back to comments earlier in our conversation. I mean, I think X, Twitter, have had an enormously disruptive effect on the way we just think and converse, and it gets everybody freaked out all the time. I mean, I have an X account. I never post, or very rarely post, but I have 4 or 5 people that I follow, Carlo Lancelotti and some other people. And when you do that, you also get a whole plethora of other people that you're not particularly interested in. And the level of controversy is just intense, and again, if that's your primary source of information or primary way of interfacing with the world, you're going to be a really miserable person. And that's what's happening.
Yeah, and that misery probably leads to losing the heart for the church. Like
Yeah.
you might have all these intellectual rationalizations for why you're miserable and treating other people miserably, including the Pope himself, who I frankly I don't want to face Jesus and explain why I was rotten to his vicar. I don't want to do. I don't want to have that conversation. But you can kind of justify this participating in this rottenness once the heart is no longer really with the church anymore.
Yeah. I think you're seeing that even among clergy. That's not new, by the way. That's been going on for centuries.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this Catholic Answer, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our live streams Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific. Or find the episode after on YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, or our Catholic Answers app.